And hello there everyone, welcome back to a new video. So, if you have seen my previous video on Tmux, it was a very short tutorial just showing the basics around Tmux. You can go watch it if you want and see if you like it. This tutorial will still be for beginners, so if you don't know anything about Tmux, don't be worried, I'll still tell you all about it. But this will contain more things. It's like a kind of a crash course. It will tell you more about Tmux, how it works, or not how it works, it just show you more commands and stuff like that. So if you want to get into Tmux, like into it, this is probably the course you want to take. So to open up Tmux, you probably have to install it. So if you're on an Arch-based distro, it's pacman -S and then Tmux. If you're on a Debian-based system, it's sudo apt-get install Tmux. And yeah, I don't know how to install any other operating system, but this is how you install it, like this. So to open up Tmux, it's just Tmux. Now you're inside of a Tmux session. So Tmux itself is basically just like a terminal multiplexer. Basically, it allows you to kind of have different windows inside of a terminal. If you have ever seen Deepin terminal or Kitty terminal, you know you can like open up different panes. For example, I'll be getting into this in a second. You can like do this and get split into different things, and you can make a bunch of cool things happen. Like here, we can run htop, and then on this side we can run top. And then here at the top, we can say neofetch. And then here on this side of the screen, we can just like Alice or something. If I want to, we can go back here, we can full screen this, and we can unfull screen it. A bunch of things. We'll be getting into doing these things, but this is just kind of an example of what Tmux actually is. So if you want to work with it, then there you go. As you can see, you can even swap things around. We'll get to all of these things. So yeah. Alright, so if you want to see the list of all key bindings in Tmux, it will be Ctrl B. All of your commands starts with Ctrl B and then question mark. This will show all the key bindings. So for example, Ctrl B plus quotation marks, that will equal to split the window vertically. Hashtag, that will list all paste buffers. Anyways, so to get a vertical split, it is Ctrl B and %. That will split your terminal vertically. To get a horizontal split, that will be Ctrl B and double quotation marks. Now you get a horizontal split. My cursor at the moment is right there. As you can see, I can't click on anything else and I won't move the cursor around. To move the cursor around, you use Ctrl B and then an arrow. So I go up, Ctrl B, I go to that side. It will allow you to do a bunch of things. So now I'm here. Ctrl B, go back here, press LS, I'm here now. Ctrl B, I press down, I can like run htop or something here. And there we go. So sometimes you want to rotate panes. So let me just, to show you where all the panes are, I'm going to make this one top and the one underneath it htop. So to rotate panes clockwise, you can just press Ctrl B, hold Ctrl and then press O. So basically Ctrl B, Ctrl O. Ctrl B, and here we go. It will rotate the panes. For example, I'm right here right now. So this pane should then go here when I press Ctrl O and B. Ctrl B and O. As you can see. Ooh, my bad. My mistake. It went that way. But you get what I mean. So now it's here, and it will be here, and then it will be there. So yeah, that is how you can rotate the panes. So if you don't like where the panes are, you can rotate them. If you want to go to the previously active pane, so currently I am here. So I'm right here. That's where I am. Let's press Alice, I'm here. To go to a previously active pane, it will be Ctrl B and semicolon. So it will take you to the previously active pane, which was this one right here. So that one. Same, if I go Ctrl B and semicolon, it will take me back to the other previous pane, which is this one. So yeah, that is how you can swap between the previous and this pane. If you want to resize a pane, it's Ctrl B, and then which side you want to go to. So Ctrl and then the arrow key. So before it was Ctrl B, Ctrl O, now it's Ctrl B, Ctrl and then the arrow key. Ctrl B and then just spamming the arrow key with Ctrl arrow, that will allow it to move it. As you can see right here. You can also change if it goes up and down, so Ctrl B, and then if I go like that. So as you can see, I can move it around. Take note, if you wait too long, then you can't do it anymore. So you have to do it within that time frame. So let's just review what we just did. So Control B and then an arrow that will move you around, right? Control B and then Control arrow that will move things up and down, or left and right, depending on what you choose. So if I can move it left and right, up and down, whatnot, it doesn't matter. So yeah, that's kind of how we did that. So space, so Control B and space, that will change the layout. So if you don't like how the layout was, that will change it. Control B space, Control B space, Control B space. As you can see, it will continuously swap until you think you found your layout. I'm going to go back to this one because I like it. Alright, so Control B and space will allow you to move around to change the layout. So to display the pane's indexes, because panes have different indexes, and that's also another way you can swap between them later on. So Control B and Q will just quickly display the indexes. So this one was 0, that one was 1, and this one was 2. So do that again, 0, 1, 2. So yeah, just that is how you can view their indexes. To kill a pane at that moment, you can just press Control B and X. And here it will ask you, kill pane 1, and this is pane 1. So if we go Control B and Q, which I can't do right now because I'm here, then yeah. So let's say yes, and as you can see, it kills it. Control B and Q, and as you can see, now I only have 0 and 1. Because we killed 1, so number 2 became 1. Just take note of that. To zoom in and out of a current pane, so let's say I want to go here and say neo fetch. And because sometimes the panes can become kind of small, so if I do that, as you can see, it's becoming kind of small already. So what I can do is I can say Control B and Z. Now I'm zoomed into this pane and nothing else is here. Control B and Z will zoom me out again. To swap a pane with the previous pane, so let's say I want to swap these two panes right here, I can just go Control B and then that is with the next pane, my bad. But just Control B and then the squiggly braces. The one that opens, that goes to the next pane. So this would be the next pane because this is the previous pane. So if I go Control B and I go down, now this is the previous pane because I'm on this pane and I came from this pane. I know it's a little bit confusing, but yeah, so I came from this pane, I was here, I moved down, so now I'm on this one. This is the previous pane. This would be the next pane. So I can just go like this. As you can see, I swap between them. You can choose how you want to swap them. This can be useful if you get it under, if you just get it right. It can be kind of confusing, but yeah. So to detach from a session, so if I want to detach from the session, I can just press Control B and D. That will detach me and bring me out of the session into this new environment, or just my normal terminal. So I'm currently actually running 2 sessions. That's why you're seeing session 2 here. But yeah, you won't be running 2 sessions. I just am, because if I go back here, as you can see, there's my usual session I take. Anyways, so to view all the sessions in Tmux, you can just go Tmux, ls. That will show you all the sessions, and this one is still attached, as you can see. So if I go back to my previous window right here, as you can see, there we go. Go here. This one is the one that's not attached. So this is the one I was in this moment, what I was showing you with things like that. To reattach a window, you can just go Tmux, attach, -T, and then the window you want to attach. And in this case, this would be 2. And there we go. We're back in it, and everything is exactly as I left it. That's the wonderful thing about Tmux. Everything is like you left it before you left it, So if you detach from the session, once you come back, it will be there again. Unless you close the session, that will completely annihilate it. To get a new window in Tmux, you can be Control B and then C. This will create a new window. So if we can just, so there, as you can see, we have 2 windows now. We're in this one right here. So as you can see with that asterisk, we're in window 1. And it starts from 0. Control B and then a number will switch between windows. So if I say 0, it takes me back to Windows 0. Control B and 1 will take me back to window 1. If you want to make sure everything runs, we can even go top here and go Control B 0 and we go Control B 1. As you can see, it will still run normally. If you want to have a prompt to ask you to which window to go, you can go Control B and then a single quote. And right here, it will prompt where you want to go. So in this case, we're at window 1. So if I say 0 and press enter, it will take me to window 0. So if you want to prompt, you can do that. If you want to go to the next window, it's Control B and N. So let's actually open up another window here. So now we have 3 windows. If you go look here, we have window 0, 1, and 2. So Control B and P will take me to the previous window. So P, as you can see, I'm in the previous window. P, now I'm back to where I was. Control B and N, that will take me to the next window. B and P will take me to previous. So Control B and P is previous, Control B and N is next. So to transform a pane into a window, so let's say I want to transform this pane right here, because you see my cursor there, into a window. I can just say Control B and exclamation mark. And now this is its own window. So as you can see, if we go back down here, then we have bash, top, bash, bash. So this one is, so if this one is number 0, if I'm correct. No, this is number 3. There we go. So this is now window 3. It's its own new window. So if we go back to window 0, as you can see, there's only 2 panes left and no longer 3. Go back to 3, and this is the one that we just created by saying Control B and exclamation mark. I'm going to close this window by pressing Control D, or you can just say exit. Same thing. So to rename a window, it is Control B and then a comma. As you can see right here, rename window. And then I'm going to rename this from bash to maybe general. And now this window wants this thing there. As you can see, it's now called general. So if we go to the next window, we can also, my bad. If we go to the next window, we can also rename this one from top to maybe, let's see. Anyway, I'm just going to move this down a bit so we don't have to worry about that the whole time. And I'm going to call this resources. And as you can see now, it is general, resources, and bash. So you can rename them with Control B and comma. To change a window index, we can go Control B and in the index, or Control B and then dot. And that will allow us to change it to an index that's not already in use. So I'm going to say 4. So as you can see now, it's 0 to 4. If I do it again, Control B and dot, and this time I can make it 10 if I want to. Now it's at index 10. Usually you don't want to go beyond index 9 just to keep it simple. But yeah, if you want to, then there you go. So if you want to go back to the previously active window, so let's say I'll go B0. Now if I want to go back to the resources window, I can go B and L. So Control B and L, and that will take me to the previously active window. Control B, L, previously active window. So that's how I can easily switch between 2 windows if you need to. To choose a window in an interactive way, you can go Control B and W. And now you can choose a window you want to be on. So this one, or this one. You can even see a little preview. So let's say I want to be in bash right now. Okay, so Control B and W will allow you to choose a window in your own little way. So to kill an entire window, you can just be Control B and. Do that, and now that window is killed. This is very useful if you have like a lot of panes open, because sometimes, as you could see maybe here, I have a lot of panes open sometimes. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 6 open. Usually sometimes go to 7 or 8, depending on what I do. But by default, it's usually 6. Now, closing all of them out can become kind of tedious. So saying Control B and allows me to close all of them out at once. So Control B and. And as you can see, we have exited Tmux. We have killed that last window. So once you kill the last window, you're exiting Tmux, and Tmux no longer runs, or that session of Tmux. So if I go Tmux, ls, as you can see, it's only my other session of Tmux that's running on this one right here. That's still there. Alright, so let's say we want to create a new Tmux session. So that would be Tmux new -s for session, and then the name you want to give it. So let's call this one Lollipop. Now I'm in the session called Lollipop. Let's say I detach from it, so Control BD. And once you detach from it, we can just say Tmux ls. As you can see, now there's one called Lollipop. Take note, it doesn't have a number to identify it anymore. It now has text to identify it. So when I attach it, you have to use the text. To rename that session, we can just say Tmux, rename session -t, and let's say lollipop, and then the name you want to give it. So in this case, let's say Jack. Now if you tmux ls, as you can see, it's now called Jack and no longer lollipop. Take note, if this was a number, you'd have to put a number here and not the name. So whatever is here is what you should be putting here. And this is what it will change to. So to kill a tmux session, it is tmux kill session -t, and then Jack in this case. Do that, tmux ls, Jack no longer exists. Alright, so let's go and create a new session, tmux, and I'm just going to say new -s. You could have just, of course, just say normally tmux, but in this case, I'm just going to do that. So tmux -s, and I'm just going to call it lop. Once you do that, now it's called lop, as you can see right there. To rename it from inside of the session itself, it's Control B and $. Then let's say we want to actually want to call it lollipop. There we go. Now it's fixed. Now we have renamed it. To switch to a previous session, it's just Control B and then in the opening bracket. So write that, and now I'm switched to the previous session. To switch back to the next session, I'm just going to say Control B and the closing bracket. As you can see, that allows me to switch between sessions. So if you have different sessions running, that's a good way to kind of go between them. I wonder if I go back to my previous session, I go here, see now the session is running on 2 screens simultaneously. That's pretty cool. Anyways, let's go back to where we were. Okay, so to show the time, which is something I really like. So if you like this right there, that is the time. If you like viewing that, then you'd like this, Control BT, and that will kind of just display the time. So I'm just going to open up a new pane here. So as you can see now the time is there, which is kind of nice. So to show messages from Tmux, we can just go Control B and tilde. Tilde is right next to 1 and right above the tab on a normal US QWERTY keyboard. So basically it's this thing right there. Anyway, so this is the messages that Tmux will show. So if I go Control B to the other pane, and I create a new pane. So now, if we go back here and do that again, as you can see now it has been updated. So now I can see the other messages. So every time you do something, it will update here, and so you can see all of your previous commands that you do. So in this case, Control BT, that created this. Then I split the window into 2 panes, and then I showed this, and then I went back to this pane. I pressed double quotation marks, so Control B double quotation marks, that created this pane right here. I came back to this pane, so Control B and then right. And then also here you can also see like the commands, because you can insert commands, which we'll get to in a second. And then here you can see we quit it out of this and we showed it again. So yeah, that's kind of cool. So to enter Tmux commands, we can do this. So let's go Q, now B, and then double quotes. Now as you can see, we can enter commands. So we can say show messages. As you can see now, this popped up again. This time I said command instead of tilde. So yeah, you can do a bunch of Tmux commands of this. So let's say you can't remember the shortcut keys you have to use, but you can remember what the command is, then you can use that instead. Alright, and that is just kind of the basics around Tmux. I'm pretty sure by now you will have a pretty good idea of what you can do with Tmux and how useful it can be just to use it. If you still want to know more about Tmux, you can either just go Control B and question mark inside of Tmux, or you can just say man Tmux. This is where I got all of my information from, so if you want to know yourself, whoops, my bad, then just there. Then you can go back here. So as you can see, Control BL, behave, login shell, whatnot. Let's go here. Here we go. Control B, exclamation mark, break current pane out into window. So turn a pane into a window. The Control B hashtag, and here, so just all of the things that I showed you can be found here and more. So if you want to know more, just man Tmux or open Tmux and just say Control B question mark. and we'll get the same things. Thank you for watching. I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you all again in the next video.